It was supposed to be a special night for Emma. She had spent hours getting ready. A simple navy blue dress, her favorite perfume, and a pair of earrings her mom gave her years ago. She looked at herself in the mirror one last time and whispered, "You can do this." It wasn't just another dinner. It was her first blind date in almost 3 years. After a long stretch of heartbreak, loneliness, and working 2 jobs to make ends meet, she finally decided to give love another chance. Her friend, Lily, had set it up, saying, "Has nice, successful, and funny. You'll like him." Emma wanted to believe her. She arrived at the small Italian restaurant a few minutes early. The cozy lighting, the smell of garlic bread, the quiet hum of soft jazz, it all felt like a scene out of a movie. She sat near the window, clutching her purse, her heart beating faster with every passing second. Then he walked in. Jason. Tall, well-dressed, confident. He scanned the room, spotted her, and smiled politely. For a moment, Emma's stomach fluttered. Maybe this could actually be something. He walked over and said, "Emma, right?" She smiled nervously. "Yes, hi, Jason. It's nice to finally meet you." They shook hands, sat down, and ordered water. But from the first few moments, something felt off. Jason kept glancing at his phone, barely making eye contact. His polite smile slowly turned into a distant expression. He asked a few small questions. "So, what do you do? And, do you live nearby?" But his tone was flat. His eyes seemed to be scanning her, not with admiration, but with quiet judgment. When their food arrived, Emma tried to lighten the mood. She joked about how terrible she was at blind dates, how she once spilled coffee all over a guy's shirt during one. She laughed. But Jason didn't. He just looked at her expressionless and said, "So, is this your first time trying online dating?" She shook her head, still smiling. "No, but it's been a while." He took a sip of his drink and said quietly, "I can see why," and Emma froze. At first, she thought she'd misheard him. "Sorry," she asked softly. Jason sighed. "Look, I don't want to sound rude. You seem nice and all, but I wasn't expecting you to look like this. Your pictures were different." Her chest tightened. "Different how?" He shrugged. "You know, thinner. More like fit. No offense, but I take care of myself, and I kind of want someone who does the same. I just think it's important." For a moment, Emma couldn't breathe. The noise of the restaurant seemed to fade away. All she could hear was the pounding of her own heart. She tried to smile, to keep her voice steady. "I do take care of myself, Jason, just maybe not in the way you expect." But he was already checking his phone again. "Yeah, look, I just don't think we're a good match. I'm sorry. I should go." He stood up, tossed a few bills on the table, and walked out. Just like that. Emma sat there, staring at her untouched plate of pasta, trying to blink back the tears threatening to fall. She could feel the eyes of other diners glancing her way, their whispers barely hidden. She wanted to disappear. After a few minutes, she finally exhaled and whispered to herself, "Of course. Should have known." She started gathering her things when she heard a small voice from the next table. "Miss, are you okay?" She turned and saw a little girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, staring up at her with big curious eyes. Her curly hair was tied in 2 small ponytails, and she had a napkin tucked under her chin, half a slice of pizza in her hand. Before Emma could respond, the girl's father turned around. He looked to be in his mid-30s. Casual clothes, kind face, tired eyes that still carried warmth. "I'm sorry," he said gently. "My daughter tends to talk to strangers. I hope she didn't bother you." Emma shook her head. "No, not at all." The girl frowned. "You look sad." Emma smiled weakly. "Just a rough night, sweetheart. But I'll be okay." The father hesitated for a second, then said, "If you don't mind me saying, you look like you could use some company. We're just finishing dinner. You're welcome to join us." Emma blinked, surprised. "Oh, I don't want to interrupt." He smiled. "Please. It's just pizza and stories about dinosaurs. I promise we're not that interesting." For the first time that evening, she laughed. She moved to their table, and the little girl instantly lit up. "I'm Mia," she said proudly. "And this is my dad, Alex." Emma smiled. "Nice to meet you both." Alex waved for the waiter and said, "Can we get another plate for our guest, please?" Then he turned back to Emma. "So, bad date?" She chuckled softly. "That obvious?" He shrugged. "A little, I saw him walk out looking like someone told him dessert was cancelled. That made her laugh again. Yeah, something like that. Over the next few minutes, they talked. About everything. Her job as a teacher, his work as a mechanic, how Mia loved pretending to be a scientist, and how she wanted to invent a machine that makes pizza rain from the sky. For the first time that night, Emma felt seen. Alex didn't glance at her phone. He didn't look uncomfortable or distracted. He listened, really listened, like every word she said mattered. And when Emma mentioned her love for baking, his eyes lit up. No way, Maya and I tried making cupcakes last week. They came out looking like angry muffins. Maya giggled. We even tried making frosting, but Dad forgot the sugar. Emma laughed so hard that people at nearby tables turned to look. For a moment she forgot all about Jason. As the evening went on, she noticed something in Alex. A quiet strength, a kindness that didn't come from trying to impress, but from simply being genuine. When the check came, he insisted on paying. You've had enough of bad dates tonight, he said with a wink. Emma smiled shyly. You really didn't have to, he shrugged. I wanted to. Consider it a friendly rescue mission. Maya leaned forward and whispered loudly. Dad says nice people deserve nice things. Emma's heart melted. Outside the restaurant, the cool night breeze brushed against her face. She thanked them both and started to leave, but Alex called out, Hey, Emma. She turned around. He hesitated, scratching the back of his neck. Would it be weird if I asked for your number? For, future pizza disasters. Emma laughed softly. Not weird at all. They exchanged numbers, and Mia waved excitedly as they walked away. That night, when Emma got home, she sat on her bed and thought about how the night had turned out. She had gone in hoping to find someone to like her. But instead, she met people who reminded her of something more important, that kindness doesn't care about appearances. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Alex started talking more. Coffee, little dinners, school events with Mia, nothing fancy, just real moments. He didn't care about how she looked in photos. He cared about how she laughed, how she listened, how she made Mia feel special. One evening, while they were sitting on a park bench watching Mia chase butterflies, Alex turned to her and said, I used to think love was about finding the perfect person, but now I think it's about finding someone who feels like home. Emma smiled, her eyes soft. And how do you know when you've found that? He looked at her, then at Mia playing in the distance. You just stop searching. For the first time in years, Emma felt peace. The kind that doesn't need anyone's approval. She realized that rejection, as painful as it is, sometimes redirects us toward something better. Toward people who see our worth before we even see it ourselves. Months later, that same Italian restaurant became their favorite spot. Not because of the food, but because that's where everything changed. Where one man's cruelty led to another man's kindness. And sometimes, that's how life works. The door that slams in your face pushes you straight into the one you were always meant to walk through. So, the next time someone judges you, your looks, your size, your story, remember Emma. Remember that worth isn't measured by appearance, but by the light you bring into the world. Because real love doesn't see the shape of your body. It sees the shape of your heart. Weeks turned into months, and Emma's life began to look a little brighter. She didn't realize how much one simple act of kindness could change everything. Alex and Mia had become her favorite part of every day. They'd meet at the park after work, share stories about their days, and laugh about Maya's latest scientific experiments, like mixing soda with toothpaste to see if it makes rocket fuel. Emma would bring cupcakes, sometimes muffins, and sometimes nothing but time, because they never cared about fancy things. What mattered was that they were together. For the first time, she didn't feel like she was being compared to anyone. She didn't feel like she had to shrink herself, hide behind makeup, or pretend to be confident. Around Alex, she could just be herself. One evening, while they sat under a big oak tree watching the sunset, Alex told her something that stuck with her forever. He said softly, the night I met you, I wasn't supposed to be at that restaurant. Emma smiled. What do you mean? He looked down at his hands. It was my wedding anniversary. Emma's smile faded slightly. He continued, my wife passed away 3 years ago. Mia was only 4. I didn't know what to do with myself that night. I just wanted to be anywhere but home. So, I took her out for pizza. I thought it would distract me. Emma listened quietly, her chest heavy. He smiled faintly. And then I saw you sitting there, looking like the whole world had just fallen apart. I recognized that feeling. I've been there. There was a long pause. He turned to her. I didn't walk over because I felt sorry for you. I walked over because I saw someone who